Welcome back. Just wanted to give you some progress on my build, at least the rebuild of the tower. As most of you know, we've been working with the GTX 580s, putting water blocks on them. Ran into a small snafu yesterday with one of the cards. As careful as we were, as you saw in the videos, tracking back, it looked like there was a problem with one of the cards. One of the transistors had wiggled loose off the memory module. Looking back at older pictures, I can clearly see it was loose back when I first got the cards. So sent that back to EVGA, got an RMA going on that one. Unfortunately, we'll only be running with one graphics card. But wanted to show you the rebuild of the case. Again, did quite a few different things here. One thing you'll notice is we took the radiator off the backside. I do have a fan sitting on the outside of the case currently just for temp. I'm not sure if it's going to stay there or not, but just wanted to show you what we did. You'll see here, this is the GTX, oh man, why am I totally forgetting, 360. So it's a 360 rad, and then I have some sync 120 fans in between, and then on top, which you really can't see, you can see these all my angles coming out of it, but I have another 320 radiator. It's a thin one. It's one of the black ice with the flow on the left and right side instead of both. Sorry, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but in all, it allowed me to put two radiators up top. Those sync fans will give plenty of airflow for both. But with that, you'll see we got some, let me fix the camera so you can see here. You'll see the CPU loop. I put back on a 355 pump with an X-top version 2 head. So instead of the 3/8 inch, I'm going with 1/2 inch. Overall, the pump flows to the CPU. So the CPU then flows out to the chipset down below, comes in from the bottom, pumps up through the chipset, comes out the top here, and then this pipe goes to the upper radiator. And then the radiator dumps out to, I'm going to move this so you can see, dumps out and pumps into this reservoir. And then this reservoir goes straight to the pump again. And if you see, that's how the reservoir connects to the pump. So it's a nice loop. The GPU loop obviously isn't complete. I'm still waiting on a couple parts to come in. But similar design, but the difference here is the pump will live below here. If you remember, I had a 240 radiator down here that I completely removed. So there'll be a new SwiftTech 655 pump here, having it custom made by SwiftTech. They're doing some modifications to it. It then pulls the water down through this input, through the pump, then back up to the bottom of the card. So again, I'm still continuing my reverse flow. So there'll be another graphics card here, and this tube will then connect. Sorry about that, phone call. This tube will then connect to the bottom of this card. We'll have an SLI fitting here, and then this will come up through the big, this will then come up through the big 360 radiator, and then go to the top reservoir, and then again dump back through here, back to the pump again. I'll also have a fan sitting down here like I had in the previous videos, and I'll have a couple fans still down here pulling in cool air. The biggest reason is since I am going with two radiators up top, you need to make sure you have sufficient airflow or fresh air coming in. So the fans down here will be pulling air in. This fan here will be blowing air up. And then obviously my back fan here, which I'm probably going to move to the inside, will be blowing air in. So that will have some good inlets overall to keep cool air coming in. So with this setup, I still have my processor running at 4.6 gigahertz. It is a 980X. My graphics cards, we'll see what we can push them at. as of now, I just have the one card, so hopefully after the weekend I'll have all the parts and I'll at least be able to get some benching done with one card and give me some good comparison on the difference between 1 and 2 card SLI and see how far I can push this card in overclocking. We still have the Corsair 1866 memory. It is overclocked to 1952. Again, I still think the 1866 memory is possible failed memory that didn't make the 2000 benchmark, but these memory sticks run, well up to 2000 megahertz with no problems whatsoever. So definitely would recommend them, or go higher just to allow you to overclock even more without having to push the memory too far. Eliminating one of the factors of memory and overclocking is a nice thing. So if you can keep your memory at its stock speeds and not have to adjust it too much, that just benefits everything overall, because it just leaves the multipliers and stuff on the CPU to have to mess with. Still have my cable management. Again, it's obviously not 100% complete, but Crisis Gamer over on EVGA forums does awesome work, fairly inexpensive. I definitely check them out. But that's the system as of now. Hopefully Monday I'll be able to shoot some videos with everything complete. I'm waiting on some fittings and some tubing. Once I have all of that, and actually some new Primo Chill ice, so I can have liquid for the GPU pump or the GPU loop, we'll be good to go. One last thing. This video wouldn't be complete without showing you. I do have the CPU loop and the chipset loop primed and ready to go. So just so you guys can hear it once it kicks on. Runs fairly smooth. Just show you guys my mess at my desk. This is my test PSU. I use this to just run the pumps when I'm priming the system. That way I don't have to fire up the system and reboot it every time. So I just have the pumps, and in this case I have the lights and the fans all hooked up. Don't need the fans or the lights, but I just want to see what it looked like last night and setting it up. But just for those of you wondering, sometimes it's handy to have an extra PSU. I'm using an Antec PSU device to test power supply. It allows you to connect to the power supply itself. You just flip this switch, green light turns on, and bam, you got power. It's an awesome thing. So, again, thanks for checking out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, check back for more videos. Again, we'll have lots of benchmarks and a lot of testing with the graphics cards underwater with these coolants blocks.